So today I will be going over the testing. What is a testing? What is you cannot minimize. Okay. So what is a software testing? Why it is needed? What are the different types of testing? And how do we test? So all those things we will go over today.
Rajesh, you can share your screen like any
Yeah,
white
I am.
whiteboard like that.
Yeah, I am going to. For that only I was getting some error that I cannot minimize. So I'm just checking it out. Yes. So we will go over what is a software testing. So just to recap, we have a web application written. The web application is deployed in Tomcat, or it is a anyway Spring Boot also it is an embedded Tomcat. So it is hosted in a server and it is going to contain the business logics and the UI and the database. So 3 parts it's going to contain. So any web application will have these 3 components. User interface layer, which can be written in HTML or JSP, or we can use Angular, React, Ionic, even PHP, and this is a business logic layer. Since we are dealing only with the Java, we will stick on with the Java. The reason I included PHP here is even the Java APIs can be consumed by PHP and .NET. It doesn't really make any difference. Java business logic can be consumed by .NET also. So the user interface layer, business logic layer, and the database layer. And if you remember, we had a layer here. We had a layer where the overlapping layer, which was a ORM layer. We studied as Hibernate layer. So high level, this is the architecture. This is what we have been going through the classes so far. So we have written this. We have completed the UI, we have completed the business logics. So database is set, everything is done. Now, before we make it live or before we give it to someone else for using, we have to ensure that the product is complete and there are no issues in the system. When I tell issues, the issues is a global term or a vague term. It can be due to a lot of reasons. First is the developer skill set is not enough. So insufficient developer skill set, or so he doesn't know to do like null checks, or 1/0 cannot be done. It is an infinite value. So these things he doesn't know. So because of his skill set, he might miss out some plays and that can cause issues. What other issues you can think of? How the errors can come into the system? What are the different ways?
There will be multiple ways, right, Rajesh?
Yes, what?
The first thing you told, if you don't know anything, you're going to get errors.
Yes, because
Uh,
the developer is not having, he is not knowing that I have to do a null check or I have to handle the exception, or it is due to skill set. He is not knowing Java that much. So because of that, his code will not be that much strong. So there are possibility of errors happening. The same way, if at this end, the connections are not closed, if the connections are not closed properly, then the connection will increase for every request. And at one point, the server cannot handle the connection and it will hang or crash. And in the UI side, the max value or the validations not done properly, the max length of the fields are not handled properly. Security errors, hacking, the system is not protected enough for hacking. The DB is open for hacking again, DB side. The max length of DB and UI and business logic doesn't match, right? This is a big issue. If in a table, the username column we have given as 50, then in the screen also we should be capturing only 50. If I capture 100 in the screen, the user will think that he will input 100 characters and he will think that the 100 characters are going to be stored. But in DB, it would be 50. So that's an error scenario, correct? So that will give an inconsistent data where the user will give 50, I will give 100, but the system will save only 50 in the database. And another is exceptions are not handled properly. Unhandled exceptions, meaning when there is an error happening in the system, when I am trying to save it, let us say the user has given, it has come here, it has come here. Here there is an error happened. It did not save to database. If an error has happened, what should happen? We should be returning back the error and showing to the user. But if we are not doing that, we are not handling the exception, the user will think that the save happened. So that's an error scenario. And he will be thinking that his data are saved, but maybe because of our issue, the code might be wrong, so that the save is not happening. We are not also handling, we are not logging also. The errors are not logged. So even we don't know that error is happening. When from the page we click on save, let us say, let's take one real example. You are trying to send out an email. When you compose and when you hit send, if the email is not sent or there is a network issue, the email editor immediately comes and tells you that the email is not sent. Please check your connection. What if the developer did not handle that exception and he took your email, instead of sending, he just closed? You will be thinking that the email is sent, but actually the email is not sent. That's one error scenario. Like this, we have lots of error scenarios which are happening because of developer skill set or because of securities, because of the infrastructure, where how do we tell infrastructure? We have only 1 GB RAM. The machine is 1 GB RAM, but when we run it, we will need like 2 GB RAM. So we have insufficient RAM and the system crashes always. No problem if we have an issue, but we have to be notified. So this is due to system infrastructure and some errors can be like unclear FRS, functional requirement specification, or we have different terminology in different companies. We call it as BRD, business requirement document. So it's actually the customer's requirement. So different persons have different requirement. The FRS is not even clear, meaning the person who got the requirement is conveying something else. And finally, we build something else. So like there is one second. So there is a comedy way of telling like the customer wanted, okay, so let us say this is a road and this is a road. A customer wants to build a bridge like this. So what happens? He calls up the guy in the IT department and the software guy, and he tells like, okay, I need a bridge like this. The person who took the requirement, like he understood like this, okay, but the customer wanted this like this, some extra space he wants. So he passed on to his development team, and one day what happened? Development team, there are usually in the MNCs we have different different teams, right? I deal only with DB, I deal only with the UI. I'm not the responsible for like that. They start building, they don't have any interaction. This guy start building, and the dev team also starts building. Finally, the product comes like this. So this is how they build finally. So this is what customer wanted, and this is what came finally. So this is a typical example of error happening in the system because of improper requirements. Here itself, the error started, and as the communication goes on, it goes different way, and there is a gap. So the system cannot talk now. The first half is developed beautifully, second half is done beautifully, but they cannot talk. So these are the some of the cases where and how the errors start coming into the system. So these are the requirements error. So when a system is done, when we tell that a system is complete, we have to ensure that all of these are handled. We have to ensure that the security is handled, the ports are not opened, unnecessary ports are not open, the database is handled properly, the queries doesn't take long time, connections are closed, and we have the max length of the columns handled throughout the system, and we have the exceptions handled, the infrastructure is proper, and more importantly, the requirement is handled. What customer asked, is it done in the system, or did we do something else? Maybe the customer would have asked for login name, we would have given as login. That's a mistake. Whatever is there in the FRS, that only we should be delivering it. So these are some of the errors which happen because of various reasons. To handle these things and to ensure that we deliver a good, proper product to the customer, testing was introduced. So testing is nothing, just an acceptance of the fact that no one is perfect. Everyone has a flaw in them. So but as a team, when we deliver it to the customer, we should ensure that the company name is kept proper. So we test ourselves by assigning to a separate team, because the problem is when the developers tests his own product, right? He will not test the negative scenarios. Only a neutral person who has never seen the system, if he comes, he will start finding fault. A developer cannot find fault on his code, but once you progress or once you mature, you will start looking at your code itself from a different perspective. So this is how testing was introduced. And there is something called as TDD, test driven development, which is very common in the industry, which means before even writing the code or before even starting the development, the test cases would be developed. So that is called the test driven development. So what are test cases? I'll clear all my drawings so far.
That means, Rajesh, for every from one point to another point, there will be like small codes written. I mean, like any small modules for to test here, whether the
Yes, we have different ways of testing. We have manual testing, automation testing. So in automation, we write codes. We write codes to test the application.
okay.
That we will write a code. We will write a simple code to test the function in the core Java, and we will see how do we test it.
Okay. And what about manual testing?
Manual testing, yeah, the manual testing is what I'm going to tell now.
Okay.
So manual testing is the way where we prepare the test cases. We prepare the test cases before development. That's before development, after FRS. So let us take one simple example. So let's take one. The customer wants one page, login page. In the login page, he wants a logo and he wants a username in the middle, password in the middle, and a sign-in button. So this is the page which the customer has given, and the business development guy, he has marked this in the FRS. So when he marks, he will specify these things, that this will be a logo and size will
in
be
the FRS means, Rajesh,
functional requirement specification.
okay.
So yeah, different companies have different terminology, but it is a requirement document from the customer.
Okay.
So he will point exactly that the logo will be 50 by 50. The field name should be user name in caps, and the length should be 20. And this should be password, and the length should be 10. And this should be sign in. So these all will be captured in the FRS. A requirement document. In the requirement document, the functional person will be capturing it. Now, looking at the developer's perspective, immediately we can tell that there will be one table with username, password, and active inactive flag, and a place to store the logo in the folder. The username field will be 20 maxchar. The password will be 10 maxchar. So these we can tell. Now, once this FRS is done, it goes to a testing team where they will prepare the manual test cases. So manual test cases means based on this, like two fields, one image and a button, what are the different testing scenarios we can imagine? The first is logo is in center. So let's keep this as scenario. Expected and actual. Actual will be tested. Actual will be filled after testing. So what is expected? The logo to be in center. That is, this is one test case. Second test case, the logo width height is 50 by 50. So what is expected? The logo to be of 50 by 50. Third, field length to be restricted in the screen, restricted as 20 and 10. So what is expected here? The username should be 20 and the password should be 10. Fourth is give blank username and password, hit sign in. What should happen? There should be one alert. Enter mandatory value. But if you see, this was not captured in the requirement. So the testing team goes to the requirement person again and they tell to them, hey, there is a message which is needed. What should happen when I don't give these fields? He goes back to the customer and he starts filling in the messages. So what are the messages to be displayed? Blank values. I should display, please provide mandatory value. The customer is giving this text, please provide mandatory values. So he fills this, but the test case person, he forgets to update it. In his test case, he has given expected as enter mandatory value, but the customer has given please provide mandatory value. Like this, the customer provides all the messages. Now the test case person writes the next test case. What will happen if username is filled, password is blank? Next case, username is blank, password is filled. Username is right, password is wrong value. Username is wrong, password is right. Like this, you can see that for one simple page with just 2 text boxes, we are able to so far write 8 scenarios to test. So when username is filled and password is blank, what should be the alert they get from the customer? Again, these alerts they get from the customers. Now this test case person, he has written these things, and this is called a test case, manual test cases. This will be written during the start of the development, and this will be kept. This will be shared with the on-site guy or the requirement guy. He will go through everything, and this will be kept aside before the development starts. Now, after this, the development will start. It actually goes to the developer. He starts writing the program for it. In the program, definitely, based on whatever I have seen, this will definitely be missed out because developers are not worried about the messages. They are not worried about the text, exact text. For them, the output should come. The alert should come. If you give blank username password, alert is coming. I am not that much sure because as a developer, what is there in the name? It's just a typo, right? What's it? That's what developers' mentality is. But most of the time, what I have seen is this would be made as a very big issue. The programs will be working very beautifully. but the alert will be wrong. The customer will be screaming, the system is not working properly. It's giving me wrong alert.
Okay.
I've got lots of complaints because of this. So the first thing we should always keep is the customers are not worried about the business logics. They are worried about the look and feel first. If the look and feel, if let us say the logo has to be center 50-50. If the developer has made it as 80-80, okay, this 50-50 did not reach to him. The developer or the lead did not reach and he gave 80-80. Then when the manual testing person tests it, he will make this as failed. After the development is completed, he will make this as failed. He will tell that, please look into the test case. It is given that the height should be 50 and 50, but you have given us 80-80. And this will be resent to the developer, so they will rework on it. But the UI matters a lot than the business logic. How the system works, they come secondary. Because only when you like a car from outside, you will go for a test drive. If you don't even find good, find comfortable by seeing a car, you will not go and have a look at it. So that is what it is. How much ever beautiful logics you may have, how much ever the system can perform greatly, but the customers don't see it. Again, there is an exception. There are few customers who are not at all worried about the UI. They are like techie customers. They are only worried about the functionalities. They don't even want a hi-fi UI. They don't want to use Angular material or Bootstrap. They tell use plain HTML, but the business logic should be great. We have both levels of customers. So coming back to the testing, this is what is a manual test cases. We call it as a test cases, which is written by the testing team before the start of the development. That's why it's called TDD, test driven development. And whenever there is a functional requirement change coming up, the test cases has to be adjusted. Let us say tomorrow the customer is asking like, I don't want 20, I want to be 30. All the places wherever we have given about the username 20, we have to adjust it. That is one tedious process, because with this one page itself, easily we can write around 20 to 25 test cases.
Rajesh, here I have one small question.
Yes, please.
For you told we have like SPR or SP something like
What
at
is
the
that?
starting you told SP, forgot the name, you told SPR or SPC. It's a doc. It's a requirement you told.
FRS.
FRS.
Functional requirement specification or
Yeah.
business requirement document.
Okay, when we are going, when we get this FRS
Requirement.
requirements, you are telling it's like manual testing for.
No. Requirement document is a free field document written by a person after he talks with the customer. What all he needs in the system.
Okay, I am good with that, Rajesh. Here,
okay,
how we are going to implement our manual testing? We have like you drawn different boxes like username, password, sign in, and what are the logo it will be, and the flow when it's going from one place to another place. We are going to write the code, or already the code is written. By using that code, we are going to get the alert and we are going to inform to the user. The user is going to inform to us. You got my question? No.
No.
You are telling it's manual testing, right?
Yes.
For automation testing, just we are going to write the code. For manual testing, just we are going to get the alert, and then how we are going to proceed here.
Okay, I'll show you. Start.
You got my question, right?
Yes. So I will share my screen. Okay. So I said that test scenario expected result and actual result. So let us write this for a Gmail, for Gmail login, and I will show you how the manual testing is done. So Gmail login, for the login page I'm going to do, and this is a Gmail login. So mail dot, it is logging in. I'll go here, mail.google.com. It is logging in. What? Instagram. Hopefully I should not have logged in. Here it is. So Instagram login page. We'll take this example. Instagram login. And I'll keep it side by side so we understand it better. Okay. So in this page, how many fields are there? The same. We have a, I'll add one more column as, which is the field. So we have the phone number field. So the first test case will be the phone number, password, login should be center aligned. Okay, this is the first test case. I will. Okay. So next is when phone number, password is blank, there should be an alert that please provide credentials. Expected result. Oh, I've given it. Okay. So please provide credentials. We don't know what is actual. Okay. This we are writing when as a requirement document. Okay. The first time the customer is giving us. The phone number is given and password is blank. Please provide password. Phone is blank. Password is given. Please provide phone number. Phone number is 20 characters. Please provide 11 characters alone. Password is 50 characters. Enter. Okay, enter 50 character in password field. Too many values. Click login button without giving password and username. The login button should be disabled. Let's say these are the test cases. For example, only this. Now we have got like 8 test cases. Now we got the requirement from the Instagram customer. We wrote the test cases. Now it goes for development. And the developer has developed it and they have hosted it. They are giving us this link. Now, as a functional person, what we have to do? We have to ensure that whether they have done what we have asked. Okay, the development was done by someone else. We were not involved. We were involved only in this requirement. Understood?
Rajesh, I'm confused here. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
I'm confused here. Be given the test scenario, the phone number, password.
So these are the test scenario. Like phone, see, this is provided by the, you don't keep in mind that Instagram is live. Okay. The Instagram site is going to be built now. There is nothing as Instagram so far. First time, the Instagram customer has come to us and he is telling us to design a page. And with this feature, he is telling when phone number and password and login should be center aligned.
Okay.
And he is telling phone number and password is blank. If the phone number and password is blank, I should get an alert that please provide credentials.
Okay.
And he is telling if the phone number is given, but password is blank, please provide PWD. This is what he wants.
Okay.
So he is giving these requirements to us. When this is done, this is what I want.
Okay.
Okay, when I click login button without giving a username and password, the login button should be disabled. This is what he has given us.
Okay.
We have written this test cases. When I do like this, this is what it should happen. Actually, how it's happening, I don't know. Only when the developer has finished the development work, I can test it. Now, assume that 3 months have gone and the developer has finished the page and he has hosted in the domain and he is giving to us. Assume that it is not live.
I missed the last 2 points.
The developer has finished the development work based on this sheet which we have given them. And he has hosted the site.
Okay.
It is not live. Okay. Assume that Instagram is not live. It has come to us for testing.
Okay.
Now we have to approve it before we make it live. Don't, okay. Forget that Instagram is live now. So as a Instagram client, we are the owner of the Instagram. We are going to test whether whatever I have asked, whether the developer has given me or not. Okay, I'll go here. What did I ask? Password, phone number, login should be center aligned. Is it center aligned? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
Yes.
pass.
Okay.
Phone number and password is blank. Please provide credentials. Okay.
Okay.
No, actually this will not come because we are disabling. Let's go here. Phone number is given and password is blank. I give phone number. Password is blank. I don't get an alert. Right?
Okay.
But what did I ask the developer to do? I asked him to give me a message. Please provide password.
Yes.
But he didn't give it. So I'll put
Okay.
as fail.
Oh.
Phone is blank. Password is given. The phone number is blank. I have given a password. Where is the message? Please provide phone number. You didn't do it as I asked. Phone number 20 characters. Okay, phone number, I'll give 20 characters. Hopefully it should have come 20. Where is the message?
Okay.
Provide 11 character alone. Fail. Enter 50 character in the password field.
Okay.
So like this, see 50 character, too many values. There is no error. Click login button without giving the values. See here, the user enter does not belong to an account. This is not the error we asked.
Okay.
Correct. We didn't give this anywhere. They have given their own message. It is not there in the requirement. When nothing is given, whether the login button is disabled, yes, this is pass. They have handled it.
Okay.
So as a Instagram owner, I will send back this sheet to the development team. Hey, I asked you to give these messages. You have not given any of these messages. Please redo the development work and send it back.
Okay.
This is how manual testing works.
Already we will have the sheet, the information, what it has to become next, what it has to be.
Correct.
The error, and we are going to test. And this one we are going to test. The app owner or the guy who needs this one.
It will be tested by the person who wrote the FRS. Mostly the app owner will not come into these testings because definitely there will be thousands of error when first time the app is getting developed. So he will not spend time on testing these things. The BA, business analyst, we call it business analyst. they will
Mhm.
be the person, or there will be one person allocated for testing. They will be
Mhm.
testing it internally. Like this, for every page, 30 to 40 test case will be written,
Mhm.
including this word. It should be Instagram in this font size. This font should be used. There should be a space between phone and number. Like that, it will be captured at the minor level. So one page will have around 200 test cases. We will be spending hours and hours, like nearly a month or 2 months for writing the test case.
Okay.
In the projects which I have worked, like we have written around 7,000 to 8,000 test cases for like 30 to 40 screens.
Mhm.
So you can imagine the amount of detail we need to capture in the test case, because that is the final approval. With 4 failure cases, we cannot make this app live.
Okay. Okay. The manual testing means is nothing but already we have the requirements. We are going to check we are getting the requirements or not.
Correct.
That's it.
Correct.
Okay. But
So
the
one
automation.
person automation is we will be writing a script to test it.
Okay.
Again, we have to write the script. So automation is not elimination of manual testing. It will help the manual testing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good, Rajesh.
Okay.
Automation testing means just instead of manual testing, we are writing the code. Just we are getting the result. That's it, right?
Yes, yes. We'll
The same
instead
thing
of
with code.
correct. So let us say here, if user name is test, password is test, click login. Expected is system should login. This one, instead of a user testing it, we will write in code, and we will give the username as test and password as test, and we will the code will check whether it is the system is logging in or not.
Okay.
So that example we will see tomorrow. How do we write one test case for the Java program? We have lots of tools as well, so we will see tomorrow in detail what all it is. Okay. So now you got a high level idea on what is the testing and
Yeah,
why
I got
do
it.
we So yes, and one thing I want to tell here is if like here there are cases where we can delete a database. We can give a delete query here. Delete from user where 1 equal to 1. We have hacking techniques. There are some techniques here. If we give like this, we can delete.
Okay.
So that is why the testing is important. This also will be included. If I give a delete query here, it will delete the database. To avoid this only, yesterday I said that we have to use string buffer. If we use string, maybe now you cannot recollect how do we use it, but everything is linked. If you use string somewhere in the code, this delete will delete the database. But if you use string buffer and prepared statement, do you remember prepared statement we studied in database? Using question mark.
Yeah.
We write queries using question mark. If you use prepared statement, this if you give delete, it will not work. The person cannot delete it. So those are all like just know it. Those are all high advanced concepts.
Okay.
Okay.
And one more thing, Rajesh, that Selenium testing, that one, this one, everything will come under this.
Yeah, those are all different tools available. We have to write scripts on it.
Okay. But whatever the topic we are discussing, that Selenium testing is one of the tool to.
Yes. Correct. Using Selenium, we can write these test cases.
Okay.
So it has its own syntax and its own tutorials are there. So you have to go through that course and learn Selenium and write test cases using that.
Okay. That sounds
Okay.
good.
Yeah. Okay, then. So we'll stop here for now. And we'll meet tomorrow and we'll see the hands-on on the testing tomorrow.
Yeah,
All right.
sure. All right. Thank you.
Okay, then. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.